of a command, an order, some time of imposing, isn't it? But anyhow, let us not go into the word. Let us go into the spirit of the word.
Absolutely. The Hindi word we have chosen is Niyamanisthatha, brother.
And also, we are still not live. So, brother, Bhai Sahib, we are still just among ourselves. We'll be going live, and you can cover all this also, what you said, once we begin. That will be really great to speak on that, how strictness is not a value. Okay, I think we should.
The Niyamanisthatha, I wanted to bring attention to brother Brijmohan Bhaiji. So maybe strictness in the sense of Niyamitata, like that's what I thought.
You should be strict with the self, yes.
English thesaurus has many alternative words for any Hindi word. Yes. I do not know, could there be other words also? Because if something happens regularly, punctually, orderly, in an orderly way, we won't call it strictness.
Correct.
And therefore, supposing people can forecast sunrise for the next 100 years, but it is not strictness, any sort of, it's an order. So anything that is orderly, for example, the golden aged life or Satjugi life of the deities is perfect in order. Okay?
Yes, deity will start and then, bring it up for all. So should we start? Should we bring in all who are waiting in the waiting room? We haven't started live.
Exactly. Sure. But don't bring them strictly. Bring them quite courteously. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, it's already such beautiful energy of humor. Okay, so Manoj Bhai, all yours. You can share screen.
So we'll just spend a minute and I'll just share the screen. So welcome all of you to the Values for Life series.
We are starting now. Hold on.
Yeah, please. The
people
meeting
are joining now.
Yeah, okay. So, Shanti, welcome all of you to the Values for Life series, episode 93 on strictness. And as always, before we begin, we'll spend a few minutes in the remembrance of the Supreme Being and invoke His presence. So welcome all of you once again, and it's really a big pleasure and a fortune for all of us that we have with us our very, very dear senior Brijmohan Bhai Sahib, all the way joining from Mount Abu. So thank you so much, Bhai Sahib, for joining. And before I pass it on to you, and also ask you questions, as you always like the format in that way, but I'll just introduce, Bhai Sahib doesn't need any introduction, but just a few things about him, because we need to know that he also has come from a very Lokik background as all of us. He basically is a chartered accountant, was a chartered accountant, I must say, by profession. And his spiritual journey began as a very young college graduate way back in 1953. He's crossed 90 now, he's 91 almost. And after having worked in the Fertilizer Corporation of India for almost 17 years, he then in 1973 dedicated himself fully to the spiritual service of humanity. Bhai Sahib, as we speak, is an additional Secretary General of the Brahma Kumaris, and he also wears quite a few other hats That is, he's the director of the Jollywood studio, which is in Om Shanti Retreat Center. And he's also the chief spokesperson of the BKs. And I'm sure you'll enjoy the humor. Actually, before we started going live, we were speaking about the value, and he will be sharing all that humor with you all as well. So just be ready for that. He's also the secretary of Brahma Kumaris Educational Society, of the Raj Yoga Education and Research Foundation, which we call RERF, and the chairperson of Political Service Wing. He's also the principal advisor for the Om Shanti Retreat Center. And as always, I will, before I again pass it on to him, and before Sister Anu officially welcomes him with flowers, all the way from Anubhuti, the West Coast, I'll present the poem as always. So the poem for Bhai Sahib and the value of strictness is as follows. So today Bhai Sahib shall share his wisdom on strictness, so that we flex our muscles with spiritual fitness, not letting Maya or weakness make us a pile of illness, because now I have found the Supreme, who is the ocean of wellness, teaching us the art of leading a life with full of correctness, with no scope for errors, but full of minute fineness. In this world, which is full of materialistic madness, where people are divided on the concept of like-mindedness, people are not like-mindedness, he, the Supreme, teaches us the lesson of oneness and liberates us from the jargon of me and mineness, so that we deal with each other with a lot of kindness and realize that in this perishable world, everything is actually nothingness. So with this, I would really welcome once again Brother Bijman Bhai Sahib. Thank you so much. And I would now request Sister Anu, who's joining this time from Anubhuti, West Coast, USA, to please welcome Bhai Sahib. Over to you.
Thank you, Brother Manoj. And it's such a pleasure to welcome you, Brij Mohan Bhai Sahib, from Anubhuti Retreat Center that's near San Francisco. I remember meeting you almost a decade ago, though. So on behalf of everyone, I'm bringing this beautiful flower orchid from Anubhuti Retreat Center, filled with all the love that upliftment this environment of this retreat center holds. So on behalf of everyone from Anubhuti Retreat Center, welcome, brother, to our program. Okay. And we are here.
But are these real flowers?
They are real flowers. They're
okay,
real
fine.
orchids. Yeah.
Then I am getting the fragrance.
Thank you, brother.
Okay, so thank you, Sister Anu. And before we go ahead for the talk, a few housekeeping instructions. If you can please click on the interpretation icon in the bottom panel and select the language which you have to listen to in. It's Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, French, Spanish, and Portuguese this time. And also, yeah, before I pass it on to Brother Brijman Bhai Sahib, I was wondering that if you all have any questions, because this is really not a value in one way. That's what we were discussing. Strictness comes as a very harsh and a very authoritative word. And when we hear of it, we think of it as, I'm sorry, we had some double echoing coming. So yeah, so we were not really thinking of how to put this as a value. We have covered punctuality and discipline in the past. So yeah, okay. Yes, sure. So actually, no, but he will start his talk when he comes.
It's all good. It's not really echoing. We are
no.
not.
It was just, I'm so sorry for this interruption. It was Sister Ranjan from Dallas, Texas. She was saying that I want to welcome him. So she's gone to get flowers. So once she's there, we can ask her to do, if that is okay, Bhai Sahib, because it will, yeah. Sister Ranjan, maybe you can just sing. Just come, because you want to sing.
Om Shanti, Om Shanti, everyone, Shanti, Bhaiji, welcome, Brother Manoj. Dr. Manoj is in Dallas, and we are having a retreat today and tomorrow. So I welcome you, especially to Dallas, and please accept our flowers from Dallas. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you. We are going to watch also.
Okay, Benji.
So, yeah. So, Bhai Sahib, you are being watched live in the center as well, and at the retreat center, Tapasya Dham.
That's our next plan.
Okay.
We have Mohan Bhaiji to our place.
Can I start with some
Yeah.
not very strict observations?
Mhm.
The
Okay.
first one is that I am a chartered accountant of 1956, but a chartered accountant remains a chartered accountant till his last breath. There is no past tense for chartered accountant that this person was chartered accountant. Number two, my primary responsibility in Madhuban is the head of finance and accounts department of the Yajna. And it is the largest department in its own way because more than 5,000 branches, their accounts are kept, and our accounting system, as you know, Brahma Kumaris accounting system is not a worldly accounting system. So we have a large number of sisters who do not know accounts and keep accounts. So this is the observation number two. And there was a third one also. Brother gave spoke a very nice poem. He prepared a very nice poem, but the word strictness was missing in it. That's the subject of the today's talk. Anyhow, now let us start.
Okay, so as always, and the first line of the poem had strictness, but it went very direct. Okay, so at the moment, I mean, so do you want to start by telling us, Bhai Sahib, that this value actually doesn't seem like a value, because many people, when we were putting up the flyer also, they said, this doesn't look like a value, it's a very strong word. So do you want to like elaborate on this strictness in a very different way from your perspective?
Well, as soon as the word strictness is spoken, or it is heard or read, this shows something that is not normal. And all values have to be normal so that those can be naturally practiced in life. So if you are a little this way or that way of the norm, then that cannot be kept always, and that cannot be in practice always. For being always, it has to be natural and normal. So therefore, strictness is you cannot be strict. No one can be strict all the 24 hours of the day. Therefore, of course, one can be normal and natural. So in that sense, this value has to be thoroughly understood if we have to bring it in the category of values, strictness. What we are saying actually is regularity, order, punctuality, system. So all those things are strictly observed. Say in nature, all natural laws strictly apply. The law of karma strictly applies. The sun rises strictly at a particular time. You can have data of sunrise for the next 100 years. But this is not strictness. This is order. This is perfection. For instance, the deities, our future status. The deities had perfect life. They saw only what was to be seen, not more nor less. They listened or heard only what has to be heard, not more or less. So everything of theirs is perfect. We say if we define the golden aged life, it will be like this, that everything happens at the right time, at the right place, in the right manner. But we cannot use the word strictness for that. It is orderliness. It is perfection. It is no waste and no negative. So anyhow, we say, Shakespeare has said, what is in a word? Rose would be rose even if it called by another name. So we admit gladly strictness as a value and start our conversation.
Right. Thank you so much, Bhai Sahab. And speaking of universal values and universal laws and spiritual laws. So you spoke about one of them, karma philosophy. So there's a question in the chat box that can Bhai Sahab please elaborate on a few spiritual laws which we should be knowing as a regular meditation practitioner? A few spiritual laws.
Well, spiritual laws require us to be in an unlimited stage. If you bring those spiritual laws into any limited area, you cannot conceive them. People use the word spiritual very commonly, and they talk of spiritual empowerment. But spiritual laws will give us spiritual empowerment, but who is going to tell those laws? And who is going to spiritually empower us if we do not know elementary spirituality, that is, who am I? What is my track in this universe? Where from I come? When I start this cycle of my journey, and then when does the cycle end? And then what happens after that? A cycle has to be continuous. So how the new cycle begins? So all this is included in spiritual laws. So one has to understand the law of eternity. One has to understand the law of beginning and end within the eternity. One has to understand the law of the soul being in its incorporeal form and then being its body form. And then the beginning, when it was in body form, what was the body like and what was the world like? Because as the quality of the soul, so should be the body and so should be the surrounding, everything. And then how it degenerates and where we are most importantly at the present time. So all this is spirituality. But Baba has made it so simple for our purpose, not going into the jungle of spirituality or the ocean of spirituality. What is relevant to us, that Baba has told that the spirit or the soul or the I is basically naturally blissful. This is the starting point, that I am by nature blissful. Now, I when my natural nature changes, then that bliss changes into happiness, then it changes into joy, then it changes into pleasure, then it changes into external physical and material consciousness only. So all these things, Baba says, I have summed up the spiritual lives. You are blissful, and if you want to become blissful again, always blissful, then you have to understand the formula that bliss has to be shared. Bliss you have to give out, and that will keep your bliss and enhance your bliss. This, in a sense, is the formula. For that, Baba says, you have to be always giving. You will have to be always positive. That's all.
Okay, so speaking of laws, at Brahma Kumaris, quite a few times we hear these two words, which is very closely related to strictness. That is having a balance between love and law. So law is again the lawful word, which means you have to be strict. So can you please explain with examples how to maintain this balance of being loveful yet lawful so that things don't go out of control?
You see, in the worldly sense, as we observe in the world, if you are to be loved, then you have to be not to be lawful. One has to choose. Do you want to be respected or do you want to be loved? Because if you want to be respected, then you have to be lawful, distant. But if you want to be loved, then you have to be little not using the law. What I mean to say is, familiarity breeds contempt. A person of status who is loveful with others, he will get lot of love, he will get lot of liking, but then he cannot in any way use any lawful command or lawful suggestion. They will not like it. So therefore, it has to be a balance. Now this love and law balance, earlier we used to say in Gyan, respect the elders, love the juniors. That was the system. Respect the elders, love the juniors. But at one point of time, Dadi Prakashmani said, remove elder or junior, love all. So that, she said, will work better. Okay. Now these two words, love and all, how should we apply? It is very important. I should apply the law to myself and love to others, which means to say, I have to be disciplined, orderly, punctual, regular, exemplary. So that is law. And law I should apply to myself. And arising out of that law, whatever love I give will be naturally full of love. So therefore, take the example of Mateshwari. Now Mateshwari ji always smiled. She was, but she was very much respected. Even if two people are talking in normal, with normal sound, and Mateshwari ji passes from behind, they will start speaking slow. Oh, Mama has gone. So that was the influence. So I will feel the law, which means maryadas. which means the normal and natural disciplines which can always be followed, and those have to be easy. Anything that has to be always followed has to be easy and natural. That is we call easy Gyan. Gyan is a very, everything of Gyan is a law. And easy yoga. So therefore, this easy word, even recent Murlis Baba said, wherever you feel labor, wherever you feel difficulty, do not do any hatha. Hatha means where you have to little exert mentally or physically. Even Baba says, don't exert your body. No, I don't tell you to sit at a particular time in a particular posture. Take it easy. Because this easy includes love with law. So basically, this word works on love, not on law. If you take God, God has many virtues, but two virtues of God are outstanding. That is truth and love. Truth and love. And now, love only, not law. So in golden age also, there will be no Gyan, but there will be virtues, gunas, which means love. So love is supreme, so much so that people say love is God. This is the thing.
Right. So since you spoke about perfection, we have actually many new people who are new to Brahma Kumaris. So they ask us about this, that 16 celestial degrees, which is a figure of perfection. So is it really some 16 degrees, 1, 2, 3, 4 numerically, or does it symbolize something? Is it a symbol of something, perfection, right?
Well, actually, it is the voltage of light. It has been taken from full moon. When there is full moon, even if you are not looking at the sky, your attention will be automatically drawn to the full moon because it is full moon. Now, it is said that full moon represents 16 degrees of completeness. So therefore, from that they have taken 16 celestial qualities. It only means the perfect, the final stage of light or enlightenment. Now compare it with 14 degrees when the soul reaches the silver age. So moon will again be full moon, but the shine will be little less, not noticeable. So that is why it is said, so there are not 1, 2, 3, 4. It means all qualities. You can multiply those 16 into 32, 64, or bring them down to 12 or 10. It doesn't matter. It is not to be calculated. It is like rays of the sun. Now, sun when fully shines and there is a complete clear weather, then the same amount of rays of the sun gives you more heat. And when there is some clouds in between or something, or sun is waning in the evening time, then the sun is still sending the rays, but the heat has become less.
Right. So you spoke about strict disciplines. We should be strict with ourselves, but there's a brother who's asking a question here in the chat box that he likes the Brahma Kumaris teachings very well. He also likes to do meditation, but he says that he's very afraid of the strict disciplines, the maryadas, the word you said in Hindi, about the strict disciplines which are followed at Brahma Kumaris. So, and you also mentioned that you should be easy with the disciplines. Sometimes you said that. So you want to just elaborate on how we should help people who are really wary of these strict disciplines which we have. And first of all, what are the strict disciplines in Brahma Kumaris which people should be knowing?
Well, when somebody is ailing and goes to a doctor, doctors tells him three things for complete cure. One is the medicine. Number two is the diet. And number three is discipline. Yes. So the third category is very important. Otherwise, medicine will also not work fully, and the diet also will not be much effective. So this is called discipline. Now, even strictness or discipline or maryadas, etc., they look difficult to a person who is not following, although he may be feeling more difficulties in life. Because if you have gone off the path, if you are looking at side scenes, you do not reach your destination in the shortest time, and rather, but you feel, I am not following the discipline. For instance, road discipline. Now, what does road discipline say? Everybody follows road discipline naturally, because otherwise at his own peril. Otherwise, he will be in trouble. A person is driving on the road and she finds from opposite side a vehicle zigzagging and coming. Now that person, to save himself, takes the side. He doesn't strike with that, why this person is zigzagging. He has to consider his own safety. Sometimes one has to slow down, sometimes one has to speed up. Similarly, in the journey of life. So if one understands that my safety is first, and if I am safe, then everything will be okay. So these disciplines are for safety, which means to say a shelter, a protection, which will enable the tender plant of spirituality to grow and to become a strong tree one day. So therefore, once you have gone off the track, then to bring one on the track is difficult. But when you reach there, it is easy. That is the thing.
Right. So wonderful. It's important to know that we have to have a disciplined life, a strict discipline. It is for our own safety. It is a means of my own safety so that I don't default on things. Fantastic. Another question coming up here is about when people think about strictness, they think about their boss usually at the office. They don't think of colleagues. Usually it's the boss who's usually strict. So one of the questions here is that my boss is very strict with me and I don't really like him. He orders all the time. Those words you said, Bhai Sahib, when you started, that orderly, authoritarian. So how do I deal with strict personalities? And it is like day in and day out. It's not that because I have to live the entire life working in that job, I can't leave the job. So how do I deal with strictness of a boss without being disturbed?
Well, it is me versus the situation. Now, this boss is one example. Even when one's mind is not in control, it is wavering, it is thinking of something else when I have to think of something. It takes me a lot of effort and concentration or a compulsion to concentrate my mind. You know, the mind gets concentrated only under two conditions. One is mind's liking and other is compulsion. As per mind's liking, one will be always attached to those things and it will be difficult to withdraw from there. It is so much natural leaning. But under compulsion, so supposing there is an exam or there is a ailment or something, one forgets everything and takes care of, controls the mind to everything. If a doctor says, if you don't have to die, do this, one will honestly do it, religiously do it. But now, for a weak mind, every problem is a problem. And a difficult boss is much of a problem. And if I have a strong mind, I have to see that the attack from other side is neutralized. Howsoever attack, all the time if it is an attack, then you can understand. Can anyone set ocean on fire? Tell me. Can anyone set ocean on fire? No. Whatever the intensity of fire, the ocean will extinguish the fire. Okay. Similarly, if I can train my mind and bring up to the level of an ocean, now any type of fire or firing will have no effect, will be neutralized. So just as in the journey on the road, in the journey of the life, we have not to say that the problem is big. We have to see that the solution is bigger. There is a very popular song these days, ये मत कहो खुदा से मेरी मुश्किलें बड़ी हैं, मेरी मुश्किलों से कह दो मेरा खुदा बड़ा है. And more so when God is on our side. 2 days back, I was attending some program. One person gave an example. He said that father and son were going in a forest, and ahead was a fallen tree, and that has to be removed. So the son said, Father, can I go and try and to remove this tree? He said, go. So son tried his best but couldn't. Came back. Father said, go again. You have not used your full energy. He went again and tried his best, could not remove it, came back. Father said, I am again saying, you have not your full energy. You have not used me. Father said. This is when we have the Almighty on our side. We have all the method and so much of flexibility where that problem should be welcome, because a champion welcomes all challengers, anyone come, and then if he can pass all, he is a champion. So first of all, I should give out this thinking that I don't like the boss. If somebody gets a paper in an exam and he says, I don't like the question paper, then it is not possible. Then it becomes more difficult. First of all, the boss will, if a strict boss is there, he will stick to all and everyone. Okay? All of them facing the same problem, or others have found ways even to deal with a strict boss. They should know what the boss likes. And many people, when they touch his weak nerve and they deal with him, the boss become favorable. So it has to be only thing, first of all, I should not think that the problem is so big. I should change my attitude, and I should not feel influenced by any type of strictness or any type of strict behavior of the father. I am like an ocean. Let any amount of firing be done. Let even a nuclear weapon be thrown in the ocean. Ocean will still be ocean.
Yes, so wonderful example you gave that we have to become masters of the ocean, the source as the supreme being is. So we also become master oceans, and then fire will not come near. Okay, so a fire would be there, but I won't be influenced and I will be able to extinguish it. Now the other...
Also, Baba says, Baba is the greatest magician and we are master magicians. What does a magician do? Making something appear and making something disappear. Now, the boss is in front of me, they're firing on me. I disappear from there. After he has completed his firing, I reappear. That is also a formula, which means to say, they say, hear no evil, see no evil. So you think a demon has come, but my eyes are open, my ears are open, but I am not to be affected by the evil. You take your mind somewhere elsewhere. You start enjoying your best food while he is firing you. After it is over, you come back. That is also very helpful.
Yes, so fantastic yuktis or fantastic methods. You told us that in Hindi we call it sunte hue nahi sunna, dekhte hue nahi dekhna, which means though someone is telling you something evil, you don't listen to it, hear no evil, and even see no evil. So
और
fantastic.
उसके लिए सोचना भी नहीं. First of all, stop thinking of that evil. हाँ.
And fantastic. So I think most important before seeing and listening, before these two sense organs, is most important the subtle sense organ inside the mind, which we say at Brahma Kumaris. It's your thinking capacity. So don't even think that your boss is evil. Just forget.
You know the spiritual formulas you were asking. Our formula is to think good of everyone. Apkari par bhi upkar karo. If one thinks from that angle, then you will start taking mercy on that. God sees us doing so many wrong things. God does not get angry. He takes mercy on us. You start taking mercy on that poor soul. That look what this person, he has a higher position, he is a boss, and still is not able to have peaceful life. Neither he is peaceful, nor he is enabling others to be peaceful. So have mercy on that soul, send good vibrations, you will be still more happy.
Yes, so just to translate what Bhai Sahib said, a beautiful spiritual teaching at Brahma Kumaris we have. Since we have a big English audience here also, Bhai Sahib, I'm just translating what you said. So upkar and apkar. So we need to really be merciful to and benevolent even towards others who are doing wrongs to us. So that's what he's saying. So fantastic way to deal with such situations. Now we come on to another a very concept closely related to strictness is stubbornness. So I'll give you an example. Like many people say that people who are strict are also stubborn. In Hindi, we call them ziddi, zid. So they are stubborn. And what they try to do is they just try to prove the point. Ziddi becomes, they cheezein siddh karte hain in Hindi we say, which means they just try to prove that they are right all the time. And then there's another word which in the spiritual teachings of Brahma Kumaris is said is determination. So do you want to explain the audience the difference between stubbornness and determination, which has been told us in the Murli teachings here as well?
Well, if there are two words, definitely there are two different meanings. Determination means not taking your aim and object or your subject lightly. So one should have a strong determination to achieve, strong determination to reach the object for which one is working. And determination produces zeal and enthusiasm, which is necessary for reaching the object, not having diversions, focusing on your aim and destination. The other thing is stubbornness, which means a person who thinks he only is right, and therefore he wants to say that he wants to prove his point as right, and it may be right or wrong, or even wrong mostly, but he will stick on to prove his point as right. A person had bet that milk is black. He put a bet on that milk is not white but black. Some friend asked him, how will you prove? Everybody will say milk is white. He said, when I will keep on saying it is black, then, and I will not accept it is white, then who can win me? So like that, therefore, such people, because it's a singular voice, it is a wrong voice. So slowly and slowly, when they are surrounded by many people who say, no, what you are saying is wrong. This inflexibility or stubbornness leads to ego. And ego hurts. Where there is ego, one will feel hurt. People will go on telling that this is wrong, and still the person says, I am right. So internally, he will be hurt because he is losing respect. He is losing acceptability. So therefore, stubbornness is a way of certain people to prove their point. But there are different points of view. And while on point, I may say, you see anything in the world, 6 or 8 people see it from different points of view. They will see it differently. Even if you photograph it, it will be different angles. But there is one thing which you may have any points of view, but will be the same, and that is a point. If you look at a point, all of us, we will all say it is a point, because point has no length, breadth, height, dimension, and a soul is a sentient point of light. So if we remain in the state of soul consciousness, God is also a point. Brahma finished is also a point. So then our point of view will never differ from any other Brahmin's point of view.
Okay, so wonderful. Bhai Sahab, you spoke about the boss and being influenced. Another question which has come in the chat box is about at Brahma Kumaris, they say that you also said that don't be influenced by people's negativity and by anger and by bossiness, strictness, etc. But also the teaching which is taught here is don't be influenced by the good in others. So do you want to elaborate this point that why should I not be influenced by looking at the good which is there in others?
Yes, this is a very subtle point, because we are settling something at lower level. When you see the good in others, no one is perfect, no one has attained karmati, avastha, who are in their bodies. So we will also see their weaknesses. You cannot look at something, a shirt which is white, but ignore its spot. That is why Baba said, look at me. Because if we look at Baba, then we will only get positive, we will only get constructive, we will only get elevated, we will rise in love. These days, all people say fall in love. Have you ever considered why love is such an elevated state? I had just described that God is equated with love, and everything is become joyful and graceful with love. And everyone today says, fall in love. Why? Because they are falling in love for lower things. Falling is getting lower, and rise in love is higher thing. So therefore, when Baba says, don't look at the good qualities of others, there are two things involved. One is we are not looking at the perfect being at that moment of time, so that we get the seed. An apple cannot give anything to an apple. It may be so nice, but seed can sustain both the apples. Secondly, very important, the word is parchintan. The root word is parchintan, which means looking at others. Okay? And the Baba's Srimat is parchintan is the root of downfall. Parchintan patan ki jad hai. Okay. Now in this parchintan come thinking about weaknesses of others and thinking of good qualities of others. Both ways per chintan leads to downfall. That has to be understood. Now, if in a group I size up myself and my stage and I look at others and I find there are so many from whom my stage is definitely better. Okay? And there are others from whom my stage is low. What will be the effect on my mind? When I see those who are stage is lower than me, it will lead to carelessness. That, oh, so many are making effort, I am much above, so I am happy. So many, I am above so many. It will lead to carelessness. And if you look at the higher stage, you start looking at Dadi Janki's good qualities or anyone's, then you feel dejection. You will feel, oh, they have achieved so much, me not. So both ways, this parchintan or looking at others is harmful. So Baba says, I am your teacher. You are not going to get anything. A brother is not going to share inheritance with a brother. Parents give inheritance. So that is why Baba says, only me. Love only me, which means I will give you the feeling of love of father, mother, anyone, anything. So therefore, it is said that me and me alone. And if you settle at a lower level, even there are good qualities, you are missing the highest giver of everything to you.
Yes, so wonderful, Bhai Sahab, and it's really a beautiful flow because I was just wanting to ask you the next question, and you just spoke about that carelessness. So when we speak of being strict with us, I mean, having a strict discipline, particularly in the Brahma Kumaris, a challenging thing which all the Brahmins feel is the early morning meditation that we call Amrit Vela in Hindi, early morning in English. So quite a few questions come, and these are the two things which you already said. One word is carelessness and the other is laziness. So I think in this today's topic of covering strictness, I think we should be strict in our disciplines. We should not be lazy. We should not be careless. All of us know that very well. But you give a lot of beautiful examples of the snake and everything. If you can just tell the audience that how do I really make my this early morning meditation routine as a part of as a natural part of my life so that I am away from carelessness and laziness? Can you please explain them us in detail?
Yes. You see, Baba has deliberately, intentionally, in our interest, kept Amrit Vela, the morning hours, as the most important and rewarding time for all weekends, intentionally. Because, say, all people come to the center, all people want to take Gyan. Some have good intentions, some have evil eye, etc., etc. So the teacher understands, and after 1 or 2 days, wants to get rid of that person who is not having good intentions. The teacher says, okay, tomorrow you come at Amrit Vela, we have the first session at that time. Most probably he will not appear. And he will also think that, again, they will ask me to come to Amrit Vela, better I leave this. This is one filtering. Similarly, Baba says, all through the day, you have to make some sort of effort or the other. But here is, for my children, God Almighty is for all the souls in the world. But for my children, I have kept a special time. Even a judge or a busy person or a politician is busy, very busy all the day. But for his family, he keeps some time. Okay, at breakfast time we'll be together and so on. So Baba said, for my children, exclusively, I have kept a separate special time. And देखो क्या हुआ भाई ओ भाई ये बंद हो गया था हाँ हो गया ठीक okay so Baba says just as a guest arrives and the host has to take care of everything, guest has not to bother, to just come at Amrit Vela to me. I will automatically check everything. We are all instruments, in fact, musical instruments of Baba. The strings, etc., will be tied, everything will be put in proper shape for the whole day. But the only thing is you have to come. If we keep that in mind, that in little time of confluence, we are going to get our status for next 2,500 years, a very high status in the golden age. How valuable it is. Can't I do a little this where I have to do nothing? I have just to receive the powers and love. Thirdly, when a person is on night duty, a person has to catch a plane at night or something at night, or he becomes sick at night, or is on night duty, doesn't one rise even before time and reaches the airport, prepares himself much in advance? And also, supposing a cobra appears under your bed and starts hissing, and you say, I am lazy, I want to sleep, it doesn't matter, will you be able to sleep? So you can create situations for yourself to start with. And once it becomes a natural habit for you, it is very, very easy, because neither in the subtle region nor in the incorporeal region there are day and night. So otherwise also these days, many of the establishments are run at night. And for them, that is the day. They put so many lights in factories that one can't even sleep. They put so many power. So therefore, one has to justify it to oneself. And once you start feeling the benefit, you just go there. Early morning, Baba says that even the students, they study 1 hour in the morning is equal to 4 hours in the day. The devotees go to the temples. Even the scientists start thinking of some inventions in the morning hours. So it is called Amrit Vela, just as Sangam Yuga is the morning of the whole cycle. Similarly, one day, morning is the Sangam Yuga of the whole cycle. So you can have so many instances. And once you start it, you will not leave it, because you feel the mind is settled, the thoughts of yesterday are settled. At that time, Baba will speak to you. Baba will touch you. You may not even imagine that this thing is missing or this I have to take. Baba will touch you. That is my experience.
Okay, so fantastic elaborate answer about how we have to understand the importance of the time which we are going through. That's the confluence age we call in English, Sangam Yoga in Hindi. Thank you so much. And I'll just take a few questions, because almost 1 hour is over, and it's almost in India, it's around 8:30 p.m. So we know Bhai Sahab also has to take rest. So a few more questions and then we'll start winding up. So a question in the chat box is mentioned that, which you also covered, Bhai Sahab, about concentration. So I'll look at the question first. That I get up at Amrit Vela, I do my prayer also, she's saying. I remember my past with a lot of pain, and I'm not able to concentrate then in the Amrit Vela meditation. So how to overcome the pain associated with the past? And also I'll add to this a second question about how do we develop concentration while in meditation?
Yes, this is a very common question, because one thing is to get up at Amrit Vela. The second thing is to benefit from the Amrit Vela. First of all, the soul is not actually affected by your lying or sitting or standing or going to another room. It is body consciousness which makes some people think when they wake up at Amrit Vela that let me keep on lying in the bed. After all, God says you can do meditation in any posture. The result will be you will go to sleep and you will wake up only after Amrit Vela is over. And then you will become very active normally. Soul is not affected. This is the body's postures of sitting, standing, and lying. So Baba says, just to change your situation, at least do not do your Amrit Vela in your bed. If you are in your house, if you have Baba's picture or Baba's room, go there, sit on a chair. Number two, now what to do at Amrit Vela? So the questioner is very right that most people start thinking of their past life events, etc., etc., and half the Amrit Vela is lost. Then they suddenly consciousness shakes. Oh, you are supposed to meditate, and then also you start with meditation, but your mind takes you somewhere else. Sometime to sleep, and sometime to your past life. Now Baba says, whatever is past is past. So always people say in the word also, let bygone be bygone. There is no use crying over spilt milk. And moreover, time moves forwards. Time does not move backwards. Our eyes are also set forwards. Therefore, it is very important to put a full stop to your past, especially at Amrit Vela, because mind is silent, it is vacant, and anything can enter. During the day, the problem does not come because you are engaged in some activity. So Baba says, put a dot. So one has to put 3 dots while sitting at Amrit Vela. First is, I the soul, I am a dot. Baba is Supreme Soul, is also a sentient point of light. And drama is also a dot. Whatever has happened, has happened. In English language also, when you complete a sentence, you put a full stop. So we put a full stop because I should see what for I am sitting. I am sitting for something else, not for remembering my past history. Now Baba says, because the mind has gone out of control, it is very fickle. So we have to concentrate. This concentration does not come easily. And especially concentration in Paramdham on Supreme Soul is on a point, and of a point is the final thing. So it will come momentarily, but it can be increased slowly. But the Baba says that I will consider everything as yoga. Even if I say I did not have good yoga today, Baba will add it into our account of yoga. So much so. At least I was conscious that I was sitting in, but that is the bottom line. Now Baba says, remember, I have given you the history and geography in simple words of the whole universe. You have before you the geography, Paramdham, this world and subtle world. This is the geography. History, golden age to iron age, and then repetition. This is in nutshell in our mind. So Baba says, move the Sudarshan Chakra, which means start considering the history of the journey of your life. Go to golden age, silver age, but in copper age, you are not to go to the those souls who have come in copper age. You are a golden aged soul. See your statues. You are so high and so pure that your statues are being worshipped. People are worshippers are queuing before the statues. So when you look at your statues, think of those, you will be elated and you will be thinking who we were when we were actually the deities. And then Baba says, don't think of Kali Yuga, skip that, straight away come to Sangam Yuga. Sangam Yuga we know so much in detail that this is the key, only where we can actually go to Param Dham. Otherwise, nobody can go to Param Dham. We can go to Golden Age and the whole thing. So Baba says, be at Sangam Yuga, how our Brahman life is elevated, what is Brahman life, how much I am falling, how much I have improved. Don't see how much I have to gain, how much I have improved, that will give you the joy and the spirit to elevate yourself further. That is also very important, because normally people start thinking of rejections and rejection. And then Baba says, remember me in subtle world. The whole subtle world is the biggest retreat center Baba has created for all Brahmins. And then go to the golden soul world. So this is the process. You have to keep on moving your mind, keeping at the back of your mind that I have to connect with Shiv Baba, because that will burn my past sins.
Correct. Thank you so much. And I can see the clock going further. I have just two more questions. The first question is, today it's 22nd June 2024. So yesterday, 21st June, it was celebrated all over the world as International Day of Yoga. And quite a few people ask, they say that, oh, this is probably the Brahma Kumaris which have given this tag, and it's almost, we celebrated 10 years this time. It was in 2014. And if you look at it from a geographical point of view, like the scientific point of view, people say that is the summer solstice, which is the longest day in the year. So do you want to just, I think it was Ramesh Bhai, who was another senior brother in the organization, and he gave us this good news in 2014 that the government of India now has approved this as International Day of Yoga. So do you want to tell us the significance of this day and how you all celebrate in India?
Yes, you can see it on YouTube at the Red Fort of Delhi. The Brahma Kumaris celebrated it in a big way. The government granted us that venue, and everything what was spoken there, etc., is available. Secondly, I have also spoken there. People think sound mind in a sound body. But actually, it is the other way around. And the whole International Day of Yoga exercise being done for the last so many years. This year also, Prime Minister of India was in Kashmir. He gave a speech from there, which compulsorily has to be heard by all people celebrating International of Yoga all over India. I also heard that. Basic thing is, the original word is yoga, not yoga. And when they talk of yoga, there are so many varieties of yoga prevalent in our country. And as a compromise, the government has included so many, and Brahma Kumari's yoga also in the category of dhyan, that is mental yoga. So we want to say, when you are mentally thinking something, you are watching something, you are interested. Do you think of how your body is behaving? You may shuffle your legs, you may change your posture naturally, but your mind is concentrated on what you are thinking or seeing. Similarly, everything adjusts to the mind. Here, they are all having physical postures. Tell me, anybody doing physical postures, is he remembering God Almighty? Yoga is the loveful communion of the soul with the Supreme Soul through mind. And mind has to function. It doesn't matter. Now, the type of yoga we are propagating, old people cannot do, sick people cannot do, people who are weak cannot do, but it means we are excluding majority of people. So actually, Brahma Kumaris, in all such celebrations, tell people about this, make people experience this, because that yoga is only taught by God, that how to connect with me and get your spiritual power. Otherwise, all yogas, human yogas, are only for the body. Body itself is perishable. If somebody reads Gita, where God says, the yoga I taught has been lost, the word used is avinashi, imperishable, eternal yoga, and that can only be of the soul with the Supreme Soul.
Yes, fantastic. And last question is about, we chose this value of strictness on 22nd because day after tomorrow it's 24th June, and you spoke about that word Mateshwari. So I would like to say that we lovingly used to call Mama, we used to call Jagdamba Saraswati, that was her name. She was the first administrative head of the Brahma Kumaris right at the beginning. Founder father was Brahma Baba, and he sort of appointed her to be that caretaker for everything, and she was the first administrative head. So in 1965 she left the body, so it's almost 59 years now. Next year we'll be celebrating 60 years of her ascension. So Bhai Sahab, you really spent a lot of time with her, and she was really an embodiment of being loveful and lawful at the same time. She was strict indeed, but also very loveful. And therefore, the strictness wasn't reflected in the way she loved so much, but also she was disciplined that way. So do you want to share one quick experience and also in her memorial, share something about her related to strictness and lawfulness? Thank you.
Yes. Mateshwari ji or Mama gained perfection in the shortest time. And her life can be taken as an example that how practical life naturally influences everything. There is one thing is called to understand, second thing is to remember, and third is to become the form of that. Understanding soul is one thing, keeping the soul in remembrance is another thing, and becoming a soul is the third thing. Now what Mateshwari did, just watch. She was one of these Brahma Kumaris, of course, most effort making and senior most of all Brahma Kumaris. Up to the day Baba said, you have to be the mother of the yajna. Can you imagine that up to yesterday she is one of the Brahma Kumaris, although the senior most, and today she has been made the mother of all the Brahma Kumaris and Kumars and everyone. So Mama, just as an actor performing excellent acting, perfect acting, she, the soul, undertook to be performing that role. And she started considering herself as the mother of the yajna, so much so that her colleagues of yesterday started calling her mother, her Lokik mother, who gave her birth, also called her mother. Brahma Baba also called her mother, and we felt that she was actually acting as a mother. So much so that in very short time, her physical body features also changed. Although she was a Kumari of young age, she started looking like a mother. So this is the extent to which that Gyan and Yoga she imbibed. Her own slogan was, "Yes, Baba," and "Just now." So this is we have found in her. And so far as love and law are concerned, Mama followed all the maryadas of the yajna perfectly to excellence. And because of that, the love that she gave to the children included their the power to follow the maryadas of the yajna. Because wherever she went, whatever she spoke was like that. And she kept as an actor a very pleasant and very loving form till the end. She had terminal cancer. You can imagine how her body will be behaving. But up to the last day, she was the same mama. Everybody felt the smile from her. A few days before, Baba had grapes grown in the Pandey Bhavan, got grapes distributed to the children from Mama's hand. 10 days before her leaving body, I had also the opportunity. She was going for a walk to the lake. I accompanied her. I had so many talks with her, but I never even sensed that her body has become such that 10 days after she is going to leave. That is why she is an example. She brought no money to the yajna. She was a Kumari and she became Gyaneshwari, worshipped as Saraswati, the goddess of wisdom. And then in the golden age, she becomes Rajeshwari, status of Lakshmi, the divine world ruler. You can imagine. So such was Mama.
So thank you so much, Bhai Sahab, for your gracious presence and giving us so much of time with all our questions. And now I request all of you all to please open your video cameras and be ready for the photograph which we usually take with Bhai Sahab. And also we'll take powerful drishti from him. Before that, I'll take a few minutes and share the screen and do the upcoming announcements. And actually, I would also request before that, Sister Harpreet. She's joining us from Vancouver. And before I go to you, it's apologies from Sister Claudia, who's the center coordinator at Vancouver, and also Dr. Ashok Mehta, who's right now in India. I mean, at Shantivan, he's got a big program over there. So both of our seniors are not there today. So they have really conveyed their apologies for their absence. And I'll request Sister Harpreet to propose the vote of thanks. Over to you, Sister Harpreet. Thank you.
Thank you. Behalf of our value team and Sister Claudia and brother already said Ashok Bhai, they could not be here today, brother. So behalf of all of us as the value team and all the participants from the globe, we would like to say heartily thank you, brother, for sharing your time, your wisdom, and the humor. We always love that part, as we always enjoy that, as how you make everything so lightly. You didn't only talk about as the strictness, but all the other values you touched today. And I would humbly request each and every one of you to go back and listen again, not just listen, but implement the easiness brother has given us and all the wisdom. So thank you from all of us. Appreciate so much for your time and giving us that values. And we can apply that and become just like you and like Baba. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks to Baba for giving me this opportunity of meeting so many Brahmins of the family through this scientific medium. Otherwise, it was not possible to personally meet all of you. I'm so thankful. And whatever Baba has told us, we are sharing. Yeah.
And
we
also,
feel so blessed.
Both of you, and also I would like to acknowledge here genuinely It was Asha Didi who was supposed to cover the value of strictness. She was ready with that. But since she had many other seva commitments, she's also right now at Shantivan as we speak. So she requested Bhai Sahib, and really it's a big fortune for us, Bhai Sahib, that by accident you have come to us. And I wanted you to come, but then you were also busy. But then Baba has got you and you've flown in, and all the angels are meeting you. Thank you so much for that. And before
Actually, Asha Ben was in Shantivan up to 4 o'clock, and then she is traveling. She is in the plane going to Delhi. That is why she told me. I said, okay.
she was in the
Fine.
flight. Correct,
Yes, she
correct.
is the flight.
Perfect information. Thank you. And if I can just quickly do the announcements, all of you can just log into our websites as well. And this is the upcoming, I'll go on the next one. Yeah, so as always, we do the Senior Raj Yogi talk on the value at length, and Bhai Sahib always does it in the form of a conversation, so we enjoy it. And we always then go on to the workshop, which we do for that value in the form of few experiential exercises for 1 hour. And then we have another Raj Yogi, usually from the West. So this time we have Sister Shireen from Florida, USA. She'll be giving her insights on strictness. And as I forgot to actually mention, in Hindi, we call it Niyam Nishtita or Sakti. So Sakt is a very hard word. It literally means hard and being strict. But Niyam Nishtita means having disciplines, following strictly your disciplines. So we'll be having it next Saturday. So please log in for that. And as always, we end our month with a silence retreat. So the value before strictness was newness. So we'll be doing the silence retreat on that, which will be next weekend after the workshop. That is Sunday, 30th June morning for India time, and late evenings, 8 to 10 p.m. for the West Coast, US and Canada. And after that, we move on to another episode, which will be 94. This time it's 93. We move on to what we call transparency, Pardarshita. And this we have a fortune that we have again two beautiful souls, very senior Raj Yogis from the USA. Sister Dr. Jen, who's the main instrument in Washington, D.C., and Sister Lodi, who's the coordinator for the Brahma Kumaris centers in Florida. So both of them will have a beautiful conversation, which will be the first weekend of July, that is 6th of July. And if you can please visit our websites, all these are recorded as well. They are very much there on our YouTube channels. Please feel free to see them. And even the previous episodes, we plan to really go until 100 episodes. So by this Diwali, that is 2024 October, we should be finishing the series fully and the workshops as well. And then we'll see what Baba gives us inspirations for future, what to do. I'll just stop sharing the screen now, and I'll request Sister Garima and Nikhil Bhai to please capture all of them on the photograph. It's a very rare photograph with Bhai Sahib. All of you, please open your video cameras, and we will just take some drishti as well, powerful drishti. Nikhil Bhai, you can play some music in the background. And all of you are requested to be on the with the video on, so that you can take the powerful drishti from Bhai Sahib, So thank you once again, Bhai Sahib, for your powerful drishti, for your divine words of wisdom, and for your gracious presence and time with us. Thank you once again. Om Shanti to all of you as well.